Based on
Oh,
how society is the family. If you don't protect marriages and families,
oh, I
well,
agree.
the
I
world is gonna.
agree, 100%.
Yeah. All we
Yeah.
need to do is pray because these are very harsh times, and I think harsher times are coming if Mr. Trump gets elected. So
Oh,
if you vote for him or not, but
yeah.
to be honest, we don't want a China war again. So I don't want him in the office.
You don't want Trump?
No, because the guy is gonna make the world into another war. He almost
Oh
got us
no.
in a war with Iran. Imagine what he's gonna do with China. There's another
Oh,
war with China, and then he said the pandemic was a flu, and then 7 other presidents followed him and said it was a flu, and look what happened in Brazil, India, England, United States. I mean, he is not responsible to be the first commander-in-chief for 330
oh,
million people. I do not believe so.
oh, oh, I disagree with you totally. I'm sorry. I'm
Because look,
sorry.
the apocalypse, Joyce, the apocalypse says that a person would try to take over one form of government, world government. And he wants exactly that. I mean, he wants to eliminate the left. He wants to only set up one way of government, which is capitalism. And capitalism is destructing the life on planet Earth. There is 87% of mankind under poverty, and we cannot wait until it's 99% of mankind under poverty, because then a revolution is going to start everywhere else. So if he wants to keep protecting rich people and allowing rich people to get richer, the poverty is going to accumulate, and then it's going to explode at some point. So the apocalypse is being brought about by people like Trump. Look, Mr. Billy Graham declined the office 5 times. Republicans and Democrats alike went to him and say, hey, Billy Graham, you're world famous. Would you like to be president of the United States? No, I would never decline my service to Lord to be president of the United States. And I will never mix politics with the faith. And you know what his son did 2 years after he died? He went up to the stage in Florida, took Trump's right hand and said, this guy converted to Christ. This guy is Christian now. Vote for him. Basically what he said. And he got 87% of white Christians in America to elect Donald Trump. And you know what? Their sons and daughters under 20 are looking to the parents and saying, hey, mom, dad, did you vote? Are you a Christian voting for an antichrist like Trump? For a racist, a corrupt, I mean, a person that does not uphold the Bible. He can hold up a Bible, but he does not uphold it. He just got cured from coronavirus by a treatment with abortion cells that he banned himself. And he now is he's getting Regeneron that has fetus cells from abortions. So my Lord is commanding to protect life on earth, and this guy lets 500,000 Americans die because he said in February that it was a flu. And China, the communist China, the atheist China, protected the life of their people, and only 0.03% of them died. But in the United States, it's going to be 500,000 dead because of a decision of a person that thinks the Christians backs him. Oh my Lord, it's going to be, I mean, I think the Lord is judging the United States because of,
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Definitely
because of the
the
Christians.
Lord. I'm a devout Christian, but I feel that Trump has been commissioned from the Lord, and Trump did convert into being a Christian, and he is doing everything. He's got prayer ministers behind him all
Oh, I
the
have
time.
seen, yes, I have seen Jesse Duplantis, a lot of people, this guy from Miami, Maldonado, Guillermo Maldonado, that has the King Jesus Church in Miami. He is supporting him. Paula White is supporting him. A lot of people, but they are the Christians from the old times. You know that the Christians 2,000 years ago killed Jesus. The ones who purported themselves as Christians, as the lawmakers, as the good Jews, the priests of 2,000 years ago, they themselves keep the Son of God because they did not think he was the Son of God because he came in a donkey. They looked down on him because he was poor. And this guy looks down on poor people. This guy is supported by the mainstream media, and not mainstream media, but the mainstream churches and the media from those churches. Pager University is doing a lot of things to support Trump. So I could conclude that if the settlement of today's Christianity is supporting Trump, then the settlement of 2,000 years ago Christianity supported the killers of Jesus. So they could be as well they could be apostates like the ones 2,000 years ago killed the Lord Jesus. So we couldn't be sure if the mainstream Christianity is supporting a guy. We cannot be sure because of what Hank Hanegraaff wrote in Christianity in Crisis. I mean, he wrote a book 25 years ago saying that the biggest hamper to Christianity in common days is capitalism because it made a market, everything turned into a market, into a buy and sell thing. So we should be a little bit uneasy when mainstream Christianity supports somebody, because that's what happened 2,000 years ago. Mainstream religion was supporting the guy who killed Jesus, the guy who, Pilatus, I guess it was his name. They supported Pilatus, and they demanded Christ to be killed. So nowadays we should try to be very careful, because according to the Bible, the next Antichrist has to have Jewish blood on him. And the only two people who could have Jewish blood to become the next president in the United States was Bernie Sanders, who is definitely ruled out, and Trump. So if a world leader that has Jewish blood on him wants to elect a new world of government, that is Trump. It's no Biden.
Trump doesn't. How do you know Trump has Jewish blood in him?
Oh, because Trump's grandfather or grandmother, I think it's the grandmother, she was Jewish. Trump's grandmother, she came from Germany. She was Jewish, Jewish. Yes.
I don't think that. She came from Scotland.
Or it was, somebody, it's either her grandmother or the other grandmother. Either of the two grandmothers that he has, she had Jewish, she was Jewish. She was Jew. Okay?
No.
So that's why I'm just giving my opinion, because I'm 28, and I think you know that most youngsters in the States hate Trump. We don't hate him. Well, I don't hate him, but I recognize him as the possible Antichrist. Because look what happened in California. The entire sky was red.
That's all Democratic. That's a Democrat problem.
Yeah, but look at what happened. The reaction of Trump, Joyce, was, science doesn't know. I don't want to, he needed to do some stuff there immediately to, put the fires down. And the response he gave was science doesn't know. And he didn't quite get interested in getting climate change done. He does not believe in climate change just because the apocalypse says that everything is going to burn out. Could you imagine that answer? I mean, how could a
No, I don't. Climate change has been manipulated by HAARP. HAARP.
Yeah, that's a chance. I have heard that theory as well. But look what happened in the apocalypse. The apocalypse says that it's going to burn out all green parts, the third of those green parts are going to be burned out. And that just happened in California. So if he sees those signs of the end of the world coming, well, he should be taking seriously this thing. But all he does is wanting to put more money into the people that already have money. And
that's not true. That's not true at all. Would you do me a favor and look up Sid Roth, R-O-T-H.
Yeah.
He has many, many prophets on there.
Give me his name again. Sid?
S-I-D, Roth, R-O-T-H. Now, he's a Christian Jew. He's been a Christian for 40 years, and he has many TV programs, and the guests that he has on are just amazing, with prophecies and the Bible, and we just can't get enough of them. Anyway, people that have died and come back to earth to be a true prophet, those that die and come back and can tell the true story. That's who he has on most of the time. Anyway, you listen to that, because I know you're not going to listen to me.
No, I do. I don't want to look. If there's one thing we should learn as Americans and as any other race or any other country, any person, is listening, and take hatred and division out, because the Lord commanded us to love, and love thy neighbor as thyself means at least listening to him. So, we got to listen, and well, the rest is just history, but let's wait and see what happens on November 3rd, okay? Because I'm really frightened. I'm 28, and I say, if this guy gets elected, you know what he did? I'm Colombian. I come from Colombia, Joyce. And we had a 50-year-old war because of the narcotraffics. We had guerrilla groups, and we were in war in Colombia. We did a peace deal 4 years ago. And you know what Trump said? That it was not a peace deal, but that it was a narco-trafficking deal to export drugs to the United States. And that peace agreement was recognized by the whole world. Our president got a Nobel Prize for signing that peace deal. And he described it as a drug trafficking cartel. I mean, he's respectful with Colombia and Mexico that have suffered so much because we put the dead people and the United States put the money. They buy cocaine, but we stay with the dead people. So Mexico and Colombia have suffered so much because of the war on drugs. And instead of solving that problem, you remember what happened with alcohol. 100 years ago, alcohol was illegal because the Bible said, don't get drink, instead be full by the Holy Spirit. All right, that is an advice. But you cannot do as a state mandatorily deny people get access to alcohol. You cannot say, hey, I as a state command you not to drink a beer because you will not go to heaven. That was absurd. And that's what the United States did, illegalizing alcohol and making Al Capone the richest man in the world, the richest criminal in the world, because he trafficked alcohol. I mean, he got rich trafficking alcohol because it was illegal. So why don't we legalize all drugs, and we will see that the alcohol problem is going to end like the drugs problems could probably end. And the first step to legalize drugs, as alcohol was legalized, the first step is doing the peace deal in Colombia, because Colombia is the first exporter of drugs, in the world. And the United States is the first buyer. So if you legalize the business, that will end. I mean, that whole massive trafficking will end. And that is the first step. Obama agreed to legalize that thing, and he supported the peace deal in Colombia. But Trump said the other day it was a drug trafficking deal. And it was exactly the opposite. We did the peace deal to begin to deal with the problem of drugs in a different way, because we have 20 years of of war in drugs, and it has only gotten dead people. I mean, the war in drugs got like 500,000 people killed in Mexico in 8 years, or in 10 years. A lot of people also killed in Colombia. So if you keep saying that we should do this and this and this and this and this without talking to other points of view, you will keep having the same problem. But if we legalize those drugs, it's going to be like alcohol. Yes, you get a person addict to alcohol, but you treat him. You don't get him in jail, because if you get him in jail, he's going to stone himself to death again. People in jail, get drugs more than in the streets. So it's not solving the problem. But if you legalize it, like alcohol, then you can solve it. Because you can say, hey, this is bad. Cocaine is bad. But you can't go ahead and chunk yourself. But this is bad. So we can help you. Let's go and we treat you. And that's how they do in Europe. You get treatment when you're an addict. But in Colombia, in my country, if you go addict, you know what's the solution? They get you in a jail so that you can get more addict. And that's not what Jesus said. He needs to help people. The Lord came in to save people, not to condemn them. And Trump wants to condemn the left. He wants to choke Venezuela to death. He wants to choke Iran to death. He wants to choke Cuba to death. That's not how you solve things. That's not the love Christ came in to command. So that's my point of view. But that's okay.
You listen to Sid Roth and see what you think.
Okay, perfect. That's a deal. That's a deal. And let's go back to our job here, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Joyce. So we started correcting your account, and it